You are now tuned in to Sports Attic.
How about them Cowboys?
Welcome to another edition of Sports Attic. We are back. We are back. Got some good stuff to get into, man. You know, we got the Bears recap, and we got the trade deadline that just passed earlier this evening. So we got to, go through the moves that were and were not made. But we appreciate y'all for joining us for another edition of Sports Attic. Please don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe across all platforms. We appreciate y'all's support. But yeah, man, let's get into it, man. We had the Bears. We hadn't really seen an outburst like that offensively in a minute. We were able to finish them off 49-29. Kind of some impressive stuff across the board, man. So offensively, I want to get your, before we kind of get into the, individual role players, just your overall thought process of performance.
Overall, I thought it was a good performance by the offense. Dak actually looked more comfortable. Dak looked like he was in control of the offense. He was decisive, making quick decisions, getting the ball out of his hands quickly. At the same time, the offensive line was dominating both on pass blocking and run blocking. Obviously, Tony Pollard had a big day, 3 touchdowns, 131 yards. The running game was looking good. CeeDee Lamb, I think he had 3 catches, 77 yards, 4 catches, 77 yards, and a
touchdown
and a tud. So all in all, I felt like on all phases of the game, offensively, we looked really good.
I agree, man. Just like you said, man, we've seen those games where I'm not sure if it's Dak not feeling comfortable. I'm not sure if the game plan, wasn't at its best. But when you see him being indecisive back there, patting the ball, holding the ball, we've seen those strip sacks before. But you didn't get that feeling today. It's funny how it could be like a tale of a couple games because we've seen similar stats before. We've seen the 20 for 27, 21 for 28, a couple hundred yards and a touchdown or two. But that one looked a little different with him being decisive. He was dropping back when that leg was planting, it was coming out. And so that was really encouraging to see a fast start. Specifically, man, that first touchdown when they had the design run from him, you was like, man, that's a nice play.
Right.
That was a nice place to get him out in space with a blocker in front of him with one defender. Like, you can't really draw it up any better than that. So, again, like you say, he kind of spread it around again, man. I really like our trio of tight ends.
Yes.
Those rookies, man, have come in and played right away and done well in both the passing and running game, Hendershot and Jake Ferguson. So it's kind of like Dalton just seems like a nice little, of course, that's still Dak's guy.
Right.
That's his safety blanket. But,
Exactly.
you feel comfortable with those guys if they need to fill in, if they were to need to fill in for Dalton, if something were to happen to Dalton, as we've seen, with the injury earlier in the season. But, man, you touched on something with the offensive line. Definitely got to give my hats off to them as a unit. I definitely give Joe Philbin his fair share of criticism. But they are blocking it up well, and like you said, both the run game and the pass game. So definitely, who I want to give a shout out to because I haven't seen his name called in a bad way in quite some time. So man, I want to shout out to Tyler Biadasz, man.
Right.
Tyler Biadasz seems to be solid and holding it down up the middle. Maybe just continue to just build on year after year. And improving, but man, across the board, you saw some of those lanes for Tony. It was like, wow, you know what I'm saying? Like huge running lanes, some cutback lanes. So all in all, across the board, offensively, again, before we kind of get into the individual guys, really good, really good outing, really good outing.
No, really good outing. I guess, like you said, like I just said, they played well as a team. They all complimented each other. Offensively, I almost gave them a 50-piece nugget, but we didn't quite get to 50, so it was 49.
We'll take them 40 burgers.
Yeah, it was a 40 burger.
With a side,
large, super size me. Super size me. So
yeah, for sure.
But 7 points came from the defense, but still 42 points put up. That's a great offensive value. So you said you wanted to get into like specific players. Offensively, who stood out to you or what player do you want to get into individually to discuss today?
Well, I'd say the two that stuck out to me is the way Dak played. That was trending in the right direction of seeing him kind of get back to himself a little bit. That was positive to see going forward. But of course, Tony had a big day. 14 carries, 131 yards, some explosive runs, another 50-plus yard touchdown. Obviously that jacks up his average when you rip off runs like that. So to average 9.4 yards an attempt was just really impressive. And he's put together a really impressive season. It's going to be interesting to see, man, how the dollars work out. Because if he continues to have certain outings and impressive outings, his price tag may be a little bit too much. Am I wrong that Tony's in his final deal of his year? Final year of his deal? It may be wrong.
I think he has one more year to go, but
okay,
he definitely is in the vicinity of being able to ask for an extension right now.
Gotcha. So, impressive, man. He's got a knack for, he had a couple of, like, really nice jump cuts. And once he gets to seeing, man, he hits at full force. So, that was really impressive to see him. What was interesting is we had the lead the way we did for majority of the game. And you would kind of assume when, with Zeke being out with the injury, that he would even see more of an uptick in carries. He still kind of had the same amount that he does even when he's in there with Zeke. And maybe that is when you do break a big run, like a 50-some-odd yard run or whatnot. Maybe that not limits the carries, but like if he doesn't break that long run, he probably gets 3 or 4 more carries in that series.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So maybe that contributes to that. But nah, man, that was super exciting to see. He's an exciting player. So yeah, Dak and Tony, really played well on the offensive side of the ball. Again, it was a team effort because you saw across the board with the offensive line, like it all starts there. You know what I mean? So it's much love to go around. But of course, I guess in the skill positions, if we speak into that, I was really happy with Dak and Tony.
So Ryan, just as you alluded to, or highlighted the play of Dak Prescott and Tony Pollard, I want to keep the focus on those two guys, specifically because I've been very critical of Dak Prescott. Dak was 21 of 27 for 250 yards just on Sunday. He threw 1 touchdown.
Two
touchdowns. Yes, you're right. So 21 to 27, 250, and 2 tuds. I like that, Dak. That's what I like. I like that, Dak. I don't have a problem with that. I don't think that's elite play. Like, and when I say elite, it's excellent play. First of all, it's excellent play. It was a great game by Dak. I didn't see many flaws other than the interception he threw right before halftime. Like I say, man, you can't be that aggressive in that situation because it wasn't needed right before halftime. I don't want him to not be aggressive in that situation. Let's say if it was the fourth quarter or even in the middle of the game. At that place, you just kind of gave him 3 points right before halftime, which kind of killed a little bit of the momentum that we kind of had going because we were up 14-0. But
time and place, definitely time and place to be aggressive, and that wasn't one of them.
Yeah, pick your spots. But hey, I like it. 21, like I said, 21-27, great play. And I think that with the way this team is built, that's what we need from that.
Correct.
Give me 250, a tud, no turnovers. Another 2 touchdowns is like gravy. You go get us.
Well, I guess you want to say 3 total, right? Because he ran 1 and threw 2.
Ooh, forgot he ran 1.
He ran 1.
Nice, Dak. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice, Dak.
Yeah.
I'm shouting you out. Been very critical of you. Did your thing. And I know you don't care if I shout you out, but hey, I'm doing it. Good job.
Because
man.
actually, it's kind of what we were asking for, right? If the running game is being successful, we don't even want you to put up throw enough to put up elite numbers.
Exactly.
We want you right in that pocket, because that means hopefully that means the running game is being successful for you to be in that range,
right?
Where you're not throwing it 37 times to amass those 400-yard games we've seen them have. I'm not even sure what the record turns out. What's the outcome of those games when he does that? Like, we shooting it out with somebody. I would think that's the case. And I
Yeah,
don't even know if we win in majority of those games when he does that.
Typically it's not a shootout. Typically Dak puts those kind of numbers up when we're getting blown out. And then he does
getting blown out. Okay.
Yeah, when they're beating us by 2 scores and we go into pass mode and we try to come back passing.
Sure.
That's usually when he puts up those gaudy numbers or the big numbers that's just my opinion on it. Like you said, if he's throwing less than 30 times a game and we're running the ball 25 to 30 times a game, and I'm comfortable with that. That's our recipe. It's the Cowboys recipe. Now, I do believe Dak has another gear. Now, if we need to get up there and start scoring, he proved this weekend that he can do that. So that makes the Cowboys a very versatile team. Like I said, we do have a formula that we want to play, but with the addition of Dak and with Dak playing the way that he played on Sunday, it gives us, a higher ceiling. Our floor is great. Our floor is already high, but Dak gives us a higher ceiling. So shout out to Dak. Great game. Now the second guy that I want to highlight is Tony Pollard. I have not been critical of Tony Pollard. I've actually been very very supportive of Tony Pollard. I love Tony Pollard. I like Tony Pollard. I just love Zeke more. And Tony Pollard did, when I was watching that game, first of all, I didn't start him in my fantasy league. I didn't expect him to do what he did, but he shocked me. Now, when I first saw how he was performing, you know what I thought to myself, Ryan?
What's that?
Bro, I was like, Zeke must have been up all night mentoring this kid.
I feel you.
Giving him pointers. Look, dude, when you see this formation, you got to do this. When they zig, you got to zag. You feel me?
Yeah. And you know what I think he did? Because you might be on to something. You might be on to something. What Zeke might have done is show Tony those spring and summer workouts, when Zeke be doing all the spin and the jump cuts and the trash cans hit the ground.
You didn't see the jump cut for the touchdown. Tell me you didn't see the jump cut for the touchdown.
He was probably like, you should do this in the real game.
Nah. He would never disrespect.
That's what Zeke told Tony. Zeke told Tony, hey, you see what I'm doing right here?
You should do this
drills, you should do this in the real game.
Zeke probably was up literally all night. He looked tired. Did you see him every time they showed him on the camera? He looked like he was sleepy because he was up. He was up late. Putting hours in, helping this team get a W.
Understood.
You know what I'm saying? Understood. So I feel like as great of a game that Tony Pollard had, 16-yard reception, 131 yards, 14 carries. 3 tuds.
Yeah, 3 tuds.
Bro, Zeke did that. That's all Zeke.
I believe. Zeke was like, I reserved this stuff right here for the summer. I'm going to give it to you to actually do it during the regular season when the games count.
It's like a book that Zeke has. And it's and Zeke let him drink some of Zeke's secret stuff.
Got you. That explains it. That makes sense. That makes sense. And
how else can he look that good?
Hey, I know we have fun with it. I look forward to when Zeke comes back. And the best thing about this is because we saw this last year, which was what kind of even started the whole Zeke Tony Russian ratio deal. Because I'm because Zeke
what are you talking about?
Injuries last year. He pushed through the injuries last year. I think these type of performances show the Cowboys and their experience from last year that you can let Zeke get right. You know what I'm saying? You don't got to rush him back and then this thing linger for the majority of the season. We need you as fresh as you can be, close to fully healthy as possible.
Because you're gonna need Zeke. All seriousness, we know we're gonna need Zeke going down the stretch.
We definitely need
we need Tony Pollard too. So
for sure. So I don't want to see a 70% and you toughen it out like a warrior, you know what I'm saying, throughout the season. I'd rather you get all the way right.
Don't you respect that though?
Sure.
Zeke,
I definitely look forward to the combo. As he comes back again, 2 different running styles. Zeke a lot more, is a physical runner. Kind of can set the tone. But like I said,
that's how Zeke trick you. He really not just a power runner. Did you see the touchdown when he got outside and hit the corner? You didn't see that, did you? For the touchdown?
Well, yeah, I've seen a few. Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
I don't think he just
that's exceptional speed. It's
okay.
exceptional, just
See,
exceptional speed.
see.
I'm
Now
just
you're
saying,
going
bro.
too far.
I'm just
So
saying. Tony Pollard did a good
I
job picking up the
definitely
blitz too.
he did. I definitely think when they come back, I just think the carries need to be even, if not. Yeah, it need to
Okay.
be even.
Okay,
Need
so
to be even.
a serious conversation about Zeke and Pollard.
Sure,
So I do agree. I do agree that even when Zeke comes back, we got to keep giving the ball to Pollard. Now, when I say get the
for
ball to
sure.
Pollard, I actually, and you and I spoke about this earlier, I don't think that the issue is necessarily taking away carries from Zeke or giving um, giving Pollard more carries than Zeke, right? I think that what we need to do is start spreading out the touches, like the 16-yard pass that Pollard caught on Sunday. So you mix in a little bit more passing the Pollard out of the backfield. I mean, in college, he basically was a running back and a receiver.
It's a
So
slot
he
receiver, yeah.
right. So take advantage of that. Take advantage of mismatches and get him the ball on screens and passes out of the backfield, along with carries. Now, if we look up at the end of the game and Pollard had 20 touches and Zeke had 15, then I'm fine with that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the strategy I think the Cowboys need to employ going forward.
I agree. I just get a little nervous from history with Kellen when you tell him you want to get somebody the ball. You know what I'm saying? And out of the ordinary, you get a little too cute. And that's what I don't want. You know what I'm saying? Like you've seen it earlier in the season, the way because they've talked about this in the
Are
offseason,
you
right?
talking about the double flea flicker?
But we've done that a couple times to Tony. Is doing like that double reverse hold deal. And it's like, bro, you know what I'm saying? That's what make you be like, just line them up in the backfield and hand them the ball. If that's what you're gonna do. If that's your idea of giving them the ball in different ways, Kellen Moore,
Oh,
then
I
we
thought you was
rather
talking
him
about me. Because what
No,
I'm
no, no,
talking
no,
about,
not you.
line
We
up in
talking
the
about Kellen.
backfield, run an out route.
Yeah,
Boom.
but we've kind of seen when he tries to get creative with getting people the ball outside of doing kind of like normal, regular football stuff. He get a little outside of himself. You know what I'm saying? So that just makes me. I agree with you saying we can get him the ball in different ways and in space. Let's just really be smart about the way we do that. I don't want to see all the crazy stuff to get Tony the ball. You know what I'm saying?
Obviously, I don't
Yeah.
mean run the double flea flicker
I'm not saying you
comeback
don't say
route.
it, but I'm saying what Kellen is shown when you tell him to get somebody the ball in different ways, it tends to be on the too cute side.
Yeah,
Is what I'm saying,
that's not what I mean. I mean
and
just
I don't
giving
want.
him more
Yeah,
touches,
yeah,
because he's explosive with the ball. He's probably one of our more exciting runners with the ball, and that's including CD Lamb. Um, so
yeah.
so like
I
yeah,
mean,
he's
shoot,
a weapon.
he's up there as one of the more entertaining, explosive runners in the league at this point.
Well, yes, he is. I say he's the second most explosive player on our team, our second best playmaker. So I think we just got to get the ball to him, right behind
Gotcha.
Zeke.
We'll just skip over who you think is first in, because
Zeke.
your opinion
I think
is
Zeke is
nullified. Yeah,
Zeke.
I figured. I
Yeah.
figured.
Okay. Now you were very positive, Ryan, on the offense and what they were able to accomplish this week.
Yep.
But in our private conversations, I know that you're not as high on the defense's performance, and I think I would like you to elaborate a little bit more on that because I wholeheartedly disagree with you.
Yeah, I was disappointed. We kind of spoke to it on one of our most recent podcasts. The reason I was disappointed is just for like now expectations and standards that I have for the defense. It's a talented group. It really is. We've talked about this team for as long as, blue in the face, in past years. And you've never, we weren't doing the podcast then, but right when it was the bend don't break, hopefully we get a turnover here and there, keep us in the game. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't hard on them because it was like, yo, I was complaining about we don't put enough resources on that side of the ball. Like all the first rounders on the offensive side of the ball. So I felt like the expectations a lot more with them as well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's kind of that reoccurring thing with the run defense reared its head again. And so I just think my expectations are higher as a unit, and I kind of expected more. We hopped off the season really hot, and I'm like, bro, it's difficult to put up 17 points against us. And so I think just kind of maybe and hey, it's 1 week. Everybody had their weeks. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's just their side. We talk about the season. One day the defense got to pick it up for the offense, as we've seen, early in the season, and vice versa. And maybe that was just this Sunday, right? But I just really got some expectations. We got some really, really good players on that side of the ball. So to see us, give up, that was Chicago's career. Sorry, not career, but season high in rushing yards, 240 yards. Was disappointing to see. You know what I mean? I don't. I know they're a good rushing team, but the craziest part about it to me is, when we speak about what position we like the defense to get the opposing offense is, like the game script, what you think would lead to that. You know what I'm saying? So maybe that's just kudos to the Bears. I don't know, sticking to what they do. But I think Justin Fields had 80 some odd yards rushing. Khalil Herbert was right there at 100. And we gave up a total of 240. And we've had other games where we weren't, when we needed it the most against Philly, and we couldn't really stop the run. So, hey man, I just my expectations are here. I think we have the talent, and obviously got a lot of faith in Dan Quinn to get that right. But kind of looking down the road, I really want to see if we could shore up that run defense. Is what really had me a little disappointed in the defensive effort on Sunday.
So I don't know if it's because we recorded and we're on the podcast. I mean, you very professionally laid out that tape. Sounded great. It sounded like, hey, I was disappointed. It's like you're talking to your child when he makes you angry. Like, I'm just disappointed.
Sure.
That's not the energy that you had when you was on the phone with me. You said, we ain't going to be nothing. We was trash. What else you say?
I don't remember using the term trash.
You said, this defense ain't what we thought it was. We got exposed. We ain't doing nothing with this defense. This defense gave up 29 points. Got 29 points by Chicago. I said, hey, Ryan. I said, hey, Ryan. What about Detroit? You said, I said, they only held Detroit to 6 points. You said, Detroit sorry. I said, well, Detroit got a good offense.
I didn't say Detroit sorry.
No, you said that Detroit had a good offense. And I said, well, they held them to 6 points last week.
Who were they missing? Come on.
Swift. What Swift do? Did Swift not cost us money this weekend?
Swift and who else?
Did Swift not cost us money this weekend?
I'm asking who else.
I'm asking you, could Swift run for 25 yards this weekend?
So
the dude that you're sitting here using.
No, he didn't.
He couldn't even run for 25 yards this weekend.
But Swift, they were missing Swift and Amon St. Brown. So if you take those two off of that offense, then yes, they're probably not a good offensive team.
Oh, okay. So, all right. Yeah, let me go back then. That's a good point. What about Cincinnati? Good offense?
Yeah.
Yeah? 17 points. 17 points.
Bro, I started the statement saying we started off the season holding people where it looked like you was gonna have a tough time scoring. So do you know points.
The reason?
Those stats you're throwing out are irrelevant to what I said.
Do you know the reason for that?
What's the reason?
The reason for that was because we had a completely different game script than what we had this last game.
Have you not watched this season and felt like we have a difficult time stopping good running teams?
Absolutely, I think that we need to show up the run.
That's all I was pointing out.
That's not all you were pointing out. You were talking as if you're disappointed. You were disappointed.
I was disappointed.
What are you disappointed for?
Emotions high after the game. Definitely disappointed.
Bro can't have a bad game. They scored a touchdown.
I just said sometimes
Dak threw a pick. Dak threw a pick right before halftime and gave him free 3 points.
Maybe this is just their week. I said this. Maybe this is just
they got an interception call back for a bogus roughing the passer where he didn't hit him in his head or neck area.
I thought he hit him in the chin area.
No, he pushed his
shoulder. Still stands that we need to change that to get that run defense.
The conversation
is my point still stands.
Yeah. If your point is we need to do better stopping the run, yes. 240.
That's what I'm saying.
240 rushing yards and you've been down 20 points the whole game. Like who's running? How many rushing attempts did they have? How many times did they rush the ball? Because let me see, 16, 50, that's 31 rushes right there, plus another 10, 40, 41 rushes, 42, 43 rushes. They ran about 43 times. Yes, that equate to a win. Look,
okay, I don't care. I'm not a Bears fan. We gave up too many rushing yards, and I've seen it.
But we were winning. We were up.
I got it.
Double 2 scores most of the game. It's no different than playing prevent defense, keeping the ball in front of you and making the tackle. It's no different from that. If we had gave up 240 passing yards and 131 rushing yards, how would you have felt?
Depends, because the Bears suck through the air too.
Yeah, because they threw 131 passing yards. So they got 300. I just feel like you're too hard on the defense. I don't think the final score, that 29 points.
Defense.
Yes. You didn't do it today. You didn't bring the energy that you had on the phone.
I told you the emotions high because my standards were high for them.
No, you didn't do it. You didn't have the same. That's what I was waiting on. See, that's why we should have did this on Sunday when you had the high emotions, because you let the emotions die down and then you brought this whole. I told you, and you knew I was coming for you. I told you that day. I said, bro, you tripping.
I told you. I think I just dialed my expectations down from this like dominant. You might score 14 points on us.
This is that defense. Listen, we'll see. Brian. See, you got me off track when I was explaining why this last game was different from any other games. What you know. Dak played this. You know why this game was different?
Why?
Like, because we was on fire offensively. So on offense, we weren't controlling the clock. Zeke wasn't playing. So what we was doing was we were scoring.
The guy was like running for touchdowns.
Yeah, that's cool, but yes. See, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, that's part of the strategy. The way Zeke plays, he controls the time of possession. I'm not even doing this. This is not even me just blindly defending Zeke like I normally do on the show. Like, seriously, like the way he runs the ball and keeps us on schedule, keeps us having longer drives and keeps us possessing the ball longer.
Okay.
Therefore, on the other end, it shortens the amount of time that our defense has to play. And then our defense is good. So especially if we get ahead and we're running the ball, that puts the other team in a position where they have to throw the ball, which is our strength is rushing the passer. I do agree with you that we need to do better at the run defense, but the only reason that you saw the numbers that we gave up offensively on defense, I believe, is because of the time of possession. The Bears had the ball 36 minutes. We had the ball 20, I say 24, 23, 56. So 24 minutes. We had the ball 24 minutes. This, I think, is the only game that the Cowboys didn't have the ball most of the game. And that's just because we scored too fast offensively. It's not a bad thing. It's just something that we got to work on.
It's never bad to be scoring the ball.
It's never bad to be scoring the ball. Like, we just need to figure out what we're going to do on defense to stop the run. But I do think this defense is who you thought they are. I mean,
I think this defense is better is a better unit than I've seen us have in a very long time. I think I just brought down my expectations from this, just like maybe the best defense in the
you thought this was
my personal opinion.
You thought, okay, so what defense is better?
I'm not sure.
You just know we ain't.
I'm just going after what I see. I think a top defense in the league will be able to stop the run better than what I've seen us be able to do. That's just my opinion.
So what is that the standard? Stopping the run? What if your offense
could part of it?
So let me ask you this. Okay, so realistically, if we were in the playoffs, right?
Sure.
And Dak was cooking that way he was cooking, and Pollard was running that way he was running. The same game goes. What team is going to stick with the run?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
We were up 14-0. 14-0
You're giving a scenario of like if the game script is going this way. I'm talking about what if we just having a decent day on offense?
But we didn't give up We didn't give up 240 to nobody rushing like that.
Yeah, no, this is definitely an outlier of the most, but I've seen in critical moments where I feel like we haven't had success stopping the ball. I came to you against the Eagles game and felt like, yeah, they didn't have the big explosive runs, but we couldn't stop them from running close to the average pretty much majority of the game. They felt like it was running for 4 and 5 yards every time they ran the ball.
Yeah.
I came on here and said that.
But I don't disagree with that point.
And that drive, right, where we really needed to stop, and I get it. I'm not trying to pinpoint one.
No, I know the 20-17 stop.
And they ran it right down our throat.
Right.
For a touchdown.
Right.
And so I'm like, bro, we need to shore that up. And then they come back and do that, and I'm like, fam, you know what I'm saying? That's it. They just notched down a little. That don't mean I don't think they're a good defense. They got a lot of talented players. Yeah, I think there's gonna be some games where they carry us for the game. I believe all that. But yeah, I just keep seeing that run defense rear its head, and I'm looking kind of down in the future of like that's playoff football. I'm sorry if I got the recollection of
so you more
feeling like we got bullied in the playoffs last year, and I feel like the last few times we've lost in the playoffs, they say we got out physical by San Francisco in the run game. We got out physical that one year with the Rams, running it down our throat. So that's all in the back of my brain.
Okay, both of those games, I
don't see nothing different.
Both of those games happened, but last year against San Francisco, we had a chance to win that game. So that game is not on the run defense, and I agree with you. We do need to shore it up.
It's a part of the whole package, cool. But I've seen us get out physical. You know what I'm saying, in the run game, and that's been a problem in the playoffs. And maybe that's in the back.
I don't feel like that was out physical on Sunday. I feel like schematically they took advantage of some weaknesses or some alignments that we had on defense. I don't feel that Rams game you're speaking of in the playoffs. Yeah. That felt demoralizing to watch as a team. We couldn't do nothing about it. But in this game, when they were running, I almost felt like, okay, keep the clock moving. Like,
yeah, cool. I agree. I was like, I can't believe they stick to that game script. Gotcha. But I think that's just the flashbacks of feeling like the old times. It's like, we still ain't fixed that. And when it comes to the playoff times, depending on who you run up against, like they ain't even got to do all the bells and whistles if they could just smash mouth run it down for a good. But
I don't think any defense or team is perfect. I think that every team has some kind of weakness or some area of weakness that every team is going to try to attack. And I think defensively for us, that is it. It's our run defense. And I think that that's something that, I'm confident Dan Quinn is going to be able to shore up as the season goes on. I just watched film on the Eagles today, and I realized that, if you can get them in 3rd and 7, usually they don't convert. 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7, when you get them out of the wildcat where they can do like the option reads and be so do the misdirections with the running, and them having a running quarterback obviously helps too. So I'm not tripping on the defense. I think that they played okay. I'm happy they got a touchdown. They had 4 sacks again. This is 33 sacks, leading the NFL in sacks. Playing ball, man. They playing ball. Trayvon Diggs should have had another pick. They playing ball to me, man. Like you said, so we can work on some things. We're on bye week. Everybody go home. Take your lady on vacation. Stay out the way. Don't get in no trouble. Come back.
I hope not.
Let's focus. Let's get to it.
People on some vacations.
Yeah, absolutely.
And everybody ain't going with their old lady.
Old ladies.
No, I'm saying a few of them just probably going with some partners somewhere.
Or your guy friend, whatever you into.
No, I'm saying going with their partners to go turn up. You know what I'm saying? And that's more likely with the trouble come.
Yeah, don't do that.
Somebody
need to put Kelvin Joseph, lock him in his house.
Yeah, he needs to chill.
He mess around and have a drive-by shooting.
He's the last person that need to be out.
Yeah, he give me Julius Randle vibes.
Yeah. You can just look at him and see what type of time he on too.
Oh yeah, he don't look like he playing no games.
Really enjoyed the Michael play. That was tight.
Yeah, it was.
Justin Fields, I don't know if he just had a brain fart. He maybe thought he was still in college, because I think he just down in college, like you can't advance it. I'm not sure, but to hop right over him is wild, and then for him to take off like that. But what a heads up play, because as soon as he jumped over, I'm like, he had to like maybe reach a hand back and touch him.
I thought
he jumped over him or something, like a hurdle or something.
He would have been better off tripping over Michael.
Yeah,
he would have been better off just falling down over him on accident. That would have been better for them.
That was crazy.
It was. Crazy. Hey, so transitioning a little bit, we didn't get anybody in free agency.
Oh, yeah. So the trade deadline ended at 4 p.m.
Oh, yeah,
Eastern.
trade deadline. Yes.
Yeah, the trade deadline ended at 4 p.m. Eastern. The first thing. So I'm in the office this morning. I go to ESPN just to try to keep a eye on the different moves, and I see Jerry Jones then grab the headlines, teasing that we are in play for a blockbuster trade. And I was like, the first thing that came to my mind was like, oh, this is just him. You know, I'm not saying he wasn't looking for a trade seriously, but this is just business Jerry being Jerry. Like, I want my team to be the talk of the day on this trade deadline while all eyes are glued on these different moves. So you know, it comes out 4 p.m. passes, comes out that the Cowboys were in talks to acquire Brendan Cooks, and they couldn't agree with the compensation and I guess the remaining salary. I'm not sure. So what do you think? You know, and when someone's wrong, like if the Cowboys, the front office gets something wrong, I don't have no problem with you trying to fix it. Like, dang, we messed up. But do you think that's a final admission that they like, dang, we shouldn't have moved on from Amari? Or we should have moved on from Amari if they still feel that way, but we damn sure needed more than the 5th rounder for him for the way he's producing.
Cap
what?
Nah, I just wanted to say that. R.I.P. Takeoff.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
Nah,
R.I.P. Takeoff. That's great.
Nah, so when I first heard it, I said Jerry just being Jerry. Like,
just being Jerry.
I believe he was just being Jerry. And maybe they did, like you said, maybe they actually did give a call to see if they could just get like the deal of the century from the Texans. But was it serious? Yeah. I don't believe so, because I ain't never seen Jerry or the Cowboys as an organization like promote that they're gonna do something big and then do something big. Like, that don't ever happen. Like, you just typically do something big. Like when we traded for, and when I say something big, I would consider trading for Amari Cooper in 2018. That's considered big. They didn't announce that. They didn't announce that week. Like, hey, guess what? We might give up a first round to go get a dude that can do his thing. Like, they didn't do that. Those kind of deals just happen behind the scenes. And I believe that Jerry is a salesman, and that's exactly what he was doing. And I think that the Cowboys were trying to rob, if they did have a conversation, they were probably trying to just rob the Texans of like, hey, they weren't really going to give up any draft capital, because you see that the Cowboys, they value draft picks tremendously. Yeah. So they don't want to give it up. So they probably, like you said, what if they had to give up a third to go get him? That would have looked stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's the least you were gonna have to give up for him. And then when I thought it was Cap from Jerry, I really thought it was Cap. Is when you announce that we're in play for a blockbuster trade. I don't think throwing the term blockbuster on it helps your negotiating skills. Like, I don't think that helps. Like you could have been in talks with the Texans. Then when you said we got a blockbuster on the way, they might have been like, hold on, are we getting enough? He talking about blockbuster. Are we getting enough in return? You know what I'm saying? For him to say this is a blockbuster, like, wait, let's think about this a little more.
Yeah,
I just didn't think that would help.
It wasn't true. He was just getting, like you said, grabbing headlines, making sure that we, and Amari's balling, 131 yards last night.
He's wide open when I watched him play. Like, his route running, he is getting separation.
He's always been wide open.
We should have kept Amari. That was dumb.
We should have kept Amari. But that's not even nothing for that's like spilled milk. We should have kept
that Jalen Tolbert. That whole ordeal. I don't know what's going on with that.
What's going on with him?
I don't know. I really don't know. I really don't hear about him till the point where you just realize, oh yeah, Jalen Tolbert still ain't playing.
That's a 3rd round pick, Will McClay.
A 3rd round pick. Yeah, I don't know. You know what I was surprised with is how quick they threw Damone Clark out there.
Well, I was too. First of all, my first reaction was
he just came back. Like, a couple
I was like, dang, bro. No, he got back this week. What are you talking about?
He played, but like when he started practicing, like, was it a week ago?
They opened up his practice window. And then this was the first week where they made him active, and he went out there and I think he played.
He played,
but that's because there was a hamstring injury to Anthony Barr. So Anthony Barr got injured, and he was Anthony Barr's replacement, and he came in. He played pretty well.
That was surprising. I'm like, bro, just come off the spinal fusion. So they wasn't capping because, when they were like, he's going to be back sooner than you expect. I thought they were just talking a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I really wasn't expecting that. And he was out there. I was like, wow.
Mm-hmm. And Micah said that he beating him in
miles per hour.
So, I mean, he can Huh?
He can move.
Yeah, I mean, he can fly.
The miles per hour track. They said, I think he said like 22.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So interested to see how that continues. Anthony Barr messing around, lose his spot if he keeps progressing.
Hopefully, Tristan Hill get cut.
We waived Tristan.
Is that
Hill.
what you were gonna say?
Yes.
That's crazy. That's your boy.
Yes. Yeah. I was surprised about that. I don't know. It just felt like came out of nowhere. Apparently, they're making room for Terrell Basham to come back.
Well, they were trying to trade him. They were trying to trade Tristan. I heard that they were trying to trade Tristan Hill. Nothing came to fruition, so they just cut him.
So they're trying to make room for Terrell Basham to make his way back. I mean, I
thought
guess
they were trying to trade him too.
I guess that speaks to the depth of the defensive line rotation, because I'm like, Tristan in short stints has been playing pretty well this year. I'm not saying he never lived up to the second round pick.
Well, let's see if he clears waivers. Maybe we bring him back and see if we can sneak him on our practice squad.
Waivers. If John Ridgeway didn't clear waivers,
yeah, maybe Tristan Hill lands on some team. We'll see. But I believe they looked at it when they signed Hankins.
Yeah.
What his name?
Jonathan Hankins.
Yeah, Jonathan Hankins. When they signed him, I mean, that took a nose tackle away. And I feel like they had a decision between Basham and Tristan Hill, and they said, we think he's a better player.
Wow. That was, I don't know why that,
because Basham used to make plays last year.
Yeah, Basham did. So that kind of threw me. I just wasn't expecting that. I guess when I heard that Terrell Basham was nearing return, I was like, okay, clearly that was the move they went with. So it'll make some more sense. But yeah, it was just like a little surprising. But I know we focused on the Cowboys. Did you see any other big moves just across the league in general? The trade deadline. I saw the Miami going for it.
Oh, I love that. I love what they did, but beyond that,
they turned that Trey Lance trade into all that.
Yeah. I forgot that they had traded for Trey Lance, because I was wondering, not Trey Lance, but the
they traded that pick, right?
Yeah,
and then, that turned into Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and now Bradley Chubb.
Mm-hmm. Nasty.
Yeah. I feel like I cut you off. You was about to say something?
Nah. Claypool got traded for a second. Thought that was ridiculous.
See, that might have thrown off the draft, you know what I'm saying, expectations of the Houston Texans too.
I thought that was ridiculous. I was like, what?
Y'all got what for Chase Claypool?
You gave a second rounder? Man, maybe I need to go look at Claypool's statistics. Maybe I'm sleeping on.
I don't think he had a better year than when he had that heavy touchdown rookie year. He had like 11 touchdowns, 12 touchdowns. I don't think he's had a better year than that.
That's crazy work right there, though.
Oh, he went crazy. That first year, he went nuts. He had a couple 3-touchdown games. He was going crazy.
I don't think people liked Claypool. I don't think
so either. Like, as a person, as a teammate,
he has like a weird attitude and how he carries himself. I don't think
he was talking something crazy. I think that was his rookie year when he was talking like somebody being disrespectful or something like. What
like what are you talking about? Who are you?
You're a rookie. Yeah, no one. You're still making a name for yourself. But if anything, you can take to the bank is Pittsburgh is going to continue to draft good receivers.
Yeah, they got Pickens.
Yeah, they continue to do that year in and year out.
Mm-hmm.
They draft another fool.
Mm-hmm.
I go back to the Martavius Bryant days.
Yeah, I remember it was. And Mike Wallace, Antonio
Brown, Juju, was productive, obviously.
Claypool, Pickens, Deontay Johnson.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's a crazy roster of receivers right there, all within like a decade.
James Washington,
all within like a decade. We might be missing somebody. Oh, let's go before that. Santonio Holmes.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if they drafted him, though. Was he with the Jets first?
They drafted Hines Ward.
Or was it the opposite? Yeah. So they ain't tripping. Like, we'll take that second round and watch who we go draft next year.
Yeah.
With that same pick y'all just gave us. Mm-hmm. Watch what we go do right there. But I saw Brandon Cooks was pissed after they didn't trade him.
Yeah, I think he feel like they playing with it.
They playing with him.
And I feel bad for Brandon Cooks, because the type of career that he's had is worthy to be celebrated, but he hasn't been in any one team or organization for long enough for him to even have a fan base. For example, I'm wearing a Dez Bryant jersey right now. He no longer plays for us. But what Dez did for the Dallas fan base, like there are people that feel like me that love Dez Bryant. The way I feel about Zeke. There are people who, even if Zeke starts to lose a step in the future, not right now because he's still a great running back, but in the future, even if Zeke starts to lose a step, I still wear my Zeke jersey because I still remember the 10,000 yards he gave us. I still remember the years where it was just give the ball to him and go get it. And I feel like Brandon Cooks, 1,000 yards for the Saints, 1,000 yards for the Patriots, 1,000 yards for the Rams, 1,000 yards for the Texans. Like, he's doing this, he's putting in work, but he don't have a fan base to even like him. Like, no, Brandon Cooks isn't anybody's favorite player just because he's never been on any team long enough to be able to get that recognition. And now he's in a dumpster, like, for Houston, and they're not trying to win. They obviously rebuilding, and obviously he's at that point where he wants to play for a contender and be considered with some of these top receivers in the game. And they probably had a conversation behind the scenes that they were going to trade him and didn't do it.
Yeah.
And that pissed him off.
Yeah, pissed him off.
Quick question.
Quick question with you speaking of to your affinity for Zeke and Dez. Do you feel like you would possibly struggle as a personnel guy if you was making decisions if you have those personal affinities for certain players, like keeping them around a little too long?
No, I'm a fan. I told you,
okay.
I'm a fan. But if I was in a general manager position, it's like the Army. See,
got you.
I've been trying to teach you about how it is in the Army. Like, certain people, like, you can't, like, if you a cadet, right?
Yeah.
And I'm an officer, I don't sit at the same table as you. It's called no fraternization. See what I'm saying? Right. So don't fraternize with them because you know you can't get too buddy. So that's how I would be as a general manager. As a fan, I love these people.
Okay.
Go Zeke, go Dak. Well, yeah, go Dak. Go everybody.
Go Dak. It sounded like you was about to bring that one back.
Nah, because I'm more critical on Dak, but go Dak. I am not angry if Dak throws for 400 yards and 5 touchdowns. That would not make me mad. I promise a guy I won't lose any sleep. Matter of fact, I probably sleep with a smile on my face because we blew somebody out. So, yeah, I'm with Dak. Go do that. I just get mad when he go out here and throw for 134 yards, no touchdowns, an interception, quarterback rating of 47.
Well, you did say when he throws for 400, you feel like that typically means we got blown out.
If we won. Oh, yeah, no. Nah, not every time, but most of the time when Dak has gaudy numbers, it is because we beat Philadelphia like that last year, and we won. Yeah. So that's like, he did go crazy. He kept the foot. Yeah.
It does go one or two ways.
Yeah.
I don't think we get blown out when he do that. I think we typically lose a close one.
I don't think the method for our team winning is him going out here and throwing like Tony Romo, for example. He was kind of like an automatic 300 yards and 2 to 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
But that's how that's what we needed to do. Like that's how, like, every game he needed to do that for us to do that.
He needed to do that for us to have a shot.
Right. I mean,
that's a fact.
The earlier Tony Romo, not the 2014.
Until we got to like 2016, we was a fool.
2014.
2014.
Then 2014, it was like, we got a running game.
We got a running game.
We got everything that we kind of need. Even the defense.
Yeah, Beasley. We was cold.
Yeah, we was nice. It was nice.
We was cold.
Dez was breaking records. DeMarco was running.
That was one for the books.
That was like one of his best seasons. Yeah.
They was lining up like the punt gunner, 2 defenders sometimes on them on a regular play.
Yeah, that's the ultimate level of respect.
For real.
You see that kind of stuff in basketball, like with Steph, when they do like triangle
just
2.
Like, 3 people, y'all handle everybody else.
Yeah.
We need to.
But knowing that we getting short on time, I did want to, and knowing that we're going into a bye week,
sure.
I don't know what our schedule is going to be like for the bye week episode, but I would like to review what your picks were because we're eight weeks through the season.
I think that'll be a good time to nice little midway. Maybe next episode review where we are currently with the totality of the Sunday parlay of the day. Uncle reached out to us, and immediately after he saw the picks air, he said, "I appreciate that y'all doing something like y'all doing God's work. I'm just gonna take the opposite, and I should be good."
On a couple of them, he should be good.
He should be good. You might have made a couple dollars.
He might, and he don't do parlays. He just goes straight up. He probably
straight up. But we'll see, man. I appreciate you, man. We'll definitely be tapping back in, man. I think that's a good idea to have a recap of our parlay plays of the day, and maybe a way going forward we can put our brains together and strategize of a way we can start trending upwards in the second half of the season. I think we got a better feel for these teams across the board as we go into the second half of the season, man. But we got the bye week, but we'll definitely make sure we figure out some stuff to get some content out during that bye week as we look to get back on track, starting with the Green Bay Packers when we return.
Yeah, I'm excited about that game. It's a revenge game for Mike McCarthy. He's very good off the bye week, and he's playing a team that he really wants to get a win with.
He definitely does.
So this is going to be exciting. It's going to be exciting, man. And
absolutely.
I hope all our players stay out of trouble. Like and subscribe. Follow us on Instagram.
Please do.
It don't cost you nothing just to push that button. Even if you don't like this video, push the like button. Yeah. Or you
We've been talking about it for so you could just hit it right now. It would have been over.
Yeah.
We didn't even have to talk about it.
Not hitting it makes you a hater.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
You think Zeke and Cabo?
I hope not.